What is up? What is up? What is up? It is your main man JD here with Watch Stuff with Us. And we tonight are watching Dune episode 3. Dune Prophecy episode 3. Should be a good one. It's been sort of ramping up since we had the first episode. I was a little bit nervous about. Second episode, much better. Third episode, I'm expecting a little bit more. I know the show kind of had to set things up, but I'm hoping we're getting to the point now where a lot of that initial setup has been made and we get into more of the action, more of the actual events and the crux of what this show is going to be about. So, like I said, my name is JD. I'm glad that you are here with me watching this. If you have not had a chance to do so, look at the bottom of the screen. Hit that like button, hit the comment button, the share button, and the subscribe button. I need you to hit all those. Please do me a favor. Help get this stream out to everybody who's watching the show, because I'm seeing that it's pretty popular so far. So I know there's a lot of people watching it. Might not be too many people watching this on here right now, but I know there's a lot of people out there. So please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that share button, and comment below so that we can help push this show out to everywhere it needs to go to. So yeah, if you are watching right now, drop a comment. I love to talk to people while I'm streaming. It kind of sucks when you just sit there and talk to yourself the entire time, but I can do that. I've done it before, and I know how it is when you're first starting out. You kind of gotta deal with that. But if you are watching right now, drop a comment. I will air your comments on the screen and discuss the show or whatever else you might want to talk about while we're on tonight. So while you guys are settling in, what might you be sipping on tonight? I'm sipping on a little bottle of water. Not doing much more than that tonight. It's been a long day. Had to go outside and rake leaves. I have a huge yard and a lot of oak trees, and I kind of waited a little bit too long to collect them. And that meant today I spent 6 hours doing it. So the boy's a little bit sore, but hey, I'm here and I'm ready to watch Dune Prophecy tonight. Hopefully it's a good episode, because I'm a little bit tired, and if it's a bad episode, you might catch me so yeah, I haven't done that yet on stream, so I'm not planning on doing it tonight. But yeah, if you're watching, drop a comment below. Let me know who you are, where you're from, where you're watching at, and a little bit about yourself. If you want to share that, I would appreciate it if you did, because we can get a little conversation going. But while you are doing that, I will basically break down what our routine is going to be, or our schedule is going to be for tonight. So to start things off, we're going to do a recap of the second episode, mainly focusing on the end of that episode, because there was a major event that kind of occurred at the end of that episode. So we will be watching a video recapping that and reacting to it. And then from there, we will be watching a preview of the trailer that aired for episode 3. So we got the trailer. We're going to watch a recap of that and break it down sort of as a primer for the episode tonight. Then we're going to watch the episode together. I can't have it on stream, I cannot show it, but I will be watching and we'll be talking about it and discussing it while the episode is going on. So it's kind of fun to sit and comment, sort of like you watching it with me. Hence the name of the channel, Watch Stuff with Us. But yeah, you get to watch the show, drop a comment, talk about it as the show goes on, and then right after the show's over, as we always do, we do a rapid reaction and recap of the major events of the episode. So that'll probably ride us all the way out to about 9:15, 9:30, somewhere in there, depending on how the chat is going. But yeah, if you want to talk about it, I'll be glad to hang around as long as you guys want to hang around. So yeah, pretty much that's what we're going to end up doing tonight. If you don't know this channel, and you aren't a subscriber to this channel, hey, what are you doing with your life? Get your life together, hit that subscribe button right now. But if you don't know, we watch a bunch of shows and react to them. We watch a bunch of YouTube videos and react to those. We haven't done music yet, but that's on the agenda too. So we're a reaction channel, and we also like to heavily focus on our interaction with the people who are watching. So if you're watching right now, drop a comment below and share where you're from, what you're doing, and how things are going on your neck of the woods. But anyway, I will start the transition now. into our actual show festivities. So we got about 53 minutes until the show drops on HBO Max. HBO Max is kind of weird because it sometimes the show will show up right on time, and then sometimes it will show up late, and then other times it will show up on time and then disappear and then reappear and then disappear and then reappear, like what happened to me last week. Like I've never seen anything like that before. It was super odd. But anyway, we were able to make it through it, and I eventually got the stream up and was able to talk about the episode, and it was a pretty good one. So tonight, like I said, the first thing that we're going to do is do a quick recap of the second episode by reacting to a video that somebody else did a full breakdown of the episode. So we are going to switch to that, and I'm going to do a little intro because I always chop these up into separate videos on demand. So I will go ahead and do that right now. On this episode of Watch Stuff with Us, Dune Prophecy, episode 2, full review. Thanks for checking out another episode of Watch Stuff with Us. I'm your main man, JD. Please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a comment below, and share if you feel the need to. And I'm going to tell you right now, you really need to support us, support me. Like you see me out here, I'm out here grinding on my YouTube grind. We put out videos, shorts every day of the week. So please support us. But tonight we're going to be focusing on Dune Prophecy episode 2 and all the events that occurred at the end of that episode specifically. So without further ado, we'll get that going.
You stole my future. Now I'm taking your hope.
In episode 2 of Dune Prophecy, Desmond Hart stands firm against Valya's attempt to control him with the voice.
If you don't know already, Desmond Hart is by far the best character on the show, at least at this point. You don't quite know if he's a good guy or a bad guy or somewhere in between. Obviously, my guess is somewhere in between. But I'm hoping that as the show goes on, we're going to learn more about why he is doing the things that he's doing. And I think this breakdown is going to give a little bit of info and behind the scenes action on exactly what's happening,
Among other unexpected events that might need some clarification. This HBO prequel takes place 10,000 years before the events of the films, exploring the early rise of the Sisterhood as it begins to gain power in the Imperium. The first episode introduced several key factions and characters, including Desmond Hart, who remains one of the biggest mysteries in the show's first season. In the premiere, Hart unexpectedly kills Pruett Riches and Reverend Mother Kasha, and in episode 2 he faces the fallout from his actions. Heavy spoilers ahead for the second season. Please proceed with extreme caution. Emily Watson stars...
I don't think we need to do the whole spoiler alert stuff because yeah, we pretty much have already figured out that if you're watching this, it's definitely going to be filled with spoilers.
Watson stars in Dune Prophecy as Mother Superior Valya, who ends the episode by attempting to kill Desmond Hart in the same way she killed Reverend Mother Dorothea, by using the voice to make her stab herself in the neck. However, Desmond Hart is able to resist her command. Emperor Javica Corino orders Hart to...
One of the interesting things that I saw on that was that when he was doing, or when she was doing the voice, as they call it, it seemed like Desmond was either resisting, or I wonder if he was just acting. Like, was it like almost there and he was just able to like stop it from happening? Or was he just putting on like, and then he was like, nah, this isn't even getting to me at all. So that's something that I wonder if he has to like fight against the voice, or if it's something that he naturally is just like, it means nothing to me.
His powers on Duke Ferdinand Riches, but in the end, he chooses to spare him. On Wallach 9, Tula instructs Sister Lila to try to connect with Mother Superior Rakella.
Poor Sister
through her
Lila.
Genetic memory. While this allows Lila to uncover important information, it ultimately costs her life. Desmond Hart is portrayed...
And if you didn't realize that Sister Lila was gonna go down, like, immediately as soon as they started doing that process with her, I don't know what to tell you because I knew it as soon as it happened. She had even said that, like, hey, I'm not fully trained yet. I don't know if I'm strong enough to do this. And they were like trying to tell her, like, yeah, you're gonna be okay. Like, knowing the whole time, nah, she wasn't gonna be okay.
Dune Prophecy as having mysterious abilities that aren't mentioned in the books, making it difficult to fully understand the extent of his powers. One of his abilities allows him to burn someone from the inside, and he can control it at will, starting and stopping it whenever he chooses. Hart attributes this power to an experience he had when he was swallowed by a sandworm on Arrakis, an event.
Which I don't know if I believe. I feel like he has told a certain story about himself to us and the people that we've seen him tell the story to, and I don't believe that's the origins of his powers. I think that his powers come from something else that we're going to learn about at some later point in the show.
That Emperor Javika witnessed in the footage shown at the end of episode 1. While inside the sandworm, Hart may have gained his powers from the water of life, the spice, or some other unexplained source.
Don't think it's the water of life, because if it was the water of life, he would have died. And yeah, definitely don't think it's that. I don't think it was Spice, because we've seen so many other people interact with Spice and they don't end up getting powers like his. So, like I said, it's from something else.
In the Dune universe, it's possible to resist the voice, as the mind can be trained to block its influence. In the books, Duncan Idaho works with Paul to develop an immunity to it. However, episode 1 of Dune Prophecy indicates that, at this stage, the voice is still a relatively new development, so it wouldn't be realistic for Desmond Hart to have already.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure what we saw in the first episode was her actually using it the first time. I don't think that it was something that had been done before.
Mastered the skill. It's likely that his ability to resist the voice is connected to the mysterious powers he possesses, which will likely be explored further as the season progresses, providing more insight into his backstory. In episode 2 of Dune Prophecy, it's revealed that Lila is a descendant of both Mother Superior Rakella and Reverend Mother Dorothea, and has been raised by Tula.
And it's crazy that they've pretty much wiped out their entire family. Like, that's wild.
Tula seeks to gain more information from Rakella about her prophecy of the Reckoning. To do this, Tula deceives Lila about Dorothea's fate, knowing that Valia killed her, but telling Lila that she might be able to see her mother by accessing her genetic memory. This process involves...
Knew that wasn't going to happen. Knew it wasn't going to work.
A concept familiar to fans from Dune. Part 2. In the Dune universe, to become a Reverend Mother, sisters must consume the water of life, which grants them access to their genetic memory. This allows them to experience the memories of their female ancestors, but the process comes with immense pain known as the agony. In Dune Prophecy, Lila is not sufficiently trained to convert the poison in the water of life that would allow her to survive the process. As a result, she dies from the ordeal, but not before uncovering some intriguing information. While exploring her genetic memory, Lila encounters both Rakella and Dorothea. Rakella reveals more details about the prophecy, which describes a soldier reborn from spice, marked by scars. This description closely matches Desmond Hart, suggesting that the spice may be the source of his powers. It's also worth noting that rebirth plays a crucial role in Paul Atreides' transformation into the Kwisatz Haderach. If the reckoning mentioned in the prophecy refers to Paul's holy war, it could tie these events together. The next person Lila encounters in her genetic memory is Dorothea, who reveals that it was Valia who killed her. Dorothea then takes control of Lila's body to deliver a message to Tula, telling her that she is taking her hope in exchange for cutting her life short. In a final act, Dorothea forces Lila to consume the poison, leading to her death. While Tula may have used Lila for her own purposes, it's clear that she genuinely cared for her. Lila's death is likely to
I mean,
cause
yeah, genuinely care for someone is relatively speaking. Like I don't think that she cared. I mean, she might have cared for her to some degree, but she knew the sacrifice that she was making. She knew the risk that she was taking. So to me, there's no way that she was just she cared about her so much. If she really cared about her, she wouldn't have let that happen to her.
significant turmoil among the sisters, especially for Jen. Kieran Atreides was somewhat understated in the first episode of Dune Prophecy, but episode 2 provides more insight into his role. He is involved in a rebellion that opposes House Corino and the Great Houses, believing that the wealth from the spice trade only benefits the nobility of the Imperium. Kieran is deeply committed to his cause, but his feelings for Princess Inez are causing him internal conflict.
A little bit. I don't think that he's that romantically involved with her. I think that that's something that he might care about her, but I don't know how much he really, really cares about her. And if she's enough for him to just decide to forego his original mission.
His loyalty to the rebellion could be tested as the season progresses, especially with the looming threat of Valya discovering that he is spying. One of the final
Well, that's
scenes
coming.
of Dune Prophecy Episode 2 shows Havicha Corino confronting Duke Ferdinand Riches in the throne room. Instead of tolerating insults as he has in the past, Javica commands Desmond Hart to use his painful ability on the Duke, causing Riches to collapse in agony. Earlier,
Now, it's one thing to ask for Desmond to do that, but what is Desmond looking for in return? That's my question, because you know that he isn't doing all this stuff just for the heck of it. So, yeah, what is he asking for in return? What does he really, really, really want? That's my question.
in the episode, Natalia had urged Havika to put Desmond Hart to use rather than imprison him, and Havika decides to follow her advice. However, he still shows mercy to Riches by sparing his life, though he inflicts enough damage to make a clear display of his power. By choosing to listen to Desmond Hart, Javica Corino is effectively siding against Valya and the Sisterhood. Desmond has convinced him that the Sisterhood has been secretly undermining the Emperor, manipulating events from behind the scenes to weaken his power. Whether Desmond
As they will continue to do in the future, like that's their pretty much the only thing that they do, especially even once they become the Bene Gesserit, like that's what their goal is to do, is to gain control through controlling the people who are in control, if that makes sense.
Desmond can be trusted, however, remains uncertain, as it's unclear whether he will be the one to bring about the destruction that Raquella foresaw, or if he will prevent it. The rest of Dune Prophecy Season 1 will explore how Havika grapples with this decision and the consequences.
Havika's weak, man. I'm sorry. Like I'm not feeling his character. I feel like he's easily manipulated, even through his trust in Desmond. Like, and I know he was kind of placed in a hard spot where he had to allow Desmond to, or he had to ask Desmond to do this for him. But yeah, he doesn't reign with an iron fist enough, and I think that that's going to come back to bite him at some point.
To follow. Overall, Two Wolves stands out as the strongest episode of Dune Prophecy so far. While the series
Strongest
still leans
episode
on
out of
familiar
two.
tropes and storytelling devices reminiscent of HBO's hit series Game of Thrones, it's hard to ignore how compelling the characters and their personal story arcs are. The show's success is largely thanks to the careful plotting by the writer's room, the strong performances by the cast, and the direction from showrunners Diane Adamu-John and Alison Shapker. Without these elements, Dune Prophecy might have struggled to rise above being just Game of Thrones set in space. Despite drawing some parallels to Game of Thrones in terms of plot, Dune Prophecy still expands on the concepts introduced in Denis Villeneuve's Dune films and the novels by Frank and Brian Herbert. The series remains accessible to viewers who are only familiar with the movies, offering just enough lore for fans of the books to analyze and speculate on.
Now that
Even
part
for
I don't
those
know if
coming
I agree
into
with.
Dune Prophecy,
I don't know if you can hear me, but that part I don't know if I agree with. Like this show is heavy with the names. It's heavy with the characters and like knowing some of the background on the families and some of the groups. I think is very important, and it takes a while to get a hang of that. And it can be tough, at least initially, like getting all the characters' names. Like I keep my pad and paper, right here at all times when I take notes, and a lot of my notes is just like character names because it's really tough to get them. And they don't always flow off the tongue the way that a lot of regular quote unquote names do. So yeah, you got to definitely get used to that. But yeah, there you have it. We just got through recapping episode 2 of Dune Prophecy. Definitely the biggest portion was the Desmond Hart scenes and the different things that he did in the episode. He is a force to be reckoned with. I just want to know who he's really truly aligned with. If you have that same question or you have an answer to it, even better, drop a comment below. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, please, on your way out as you finish watching this. And if you don't know, and if you just so happen to be watching live, we will be watching the episode tonight live on the air, right on this channel. So every week, every Sunday, 7 p.m. I start my streams, which is an hour before Doom Prophecy debuts. So at 7 p.m. Central Time. So yeah, if you want to join in and comment and hang out in our watch party, feel free to do so and come by. Until then, peace. All right. So just broke down episode 2. Looks like we got about a little more than 30 minutes until the episode drops on HBO Max, which is cool. So yeah, if you are excited about the episode, please drop a comment below. Let's talk about it. What are you most excited about? As I take a sip of water. I think by far my favorite character is Desmond Hart. Um, like I said, I don't know if he's a hero or not, but he's definitely the most interesting character. As far as the sisterhood goes, Valia and Tula are the leaders of that, and I don't really like either of them. Valia is very manipulative. She seems as though she is the head lady in charge. Tula seems to be her lieutenant and second in command. Tula definitely seems the nicer of the two, but I'm not feeling her either. Like I think the show struggles right now with making characters that you want to pull for, and they need to do that quick, fast, and in a hurry, because if you have too many characters that people don't like, or you don't have a clear protagonist, it can be difficult to follow. And then people tend to get confused and you become apathetic because you don't have one person that you're really pulling for. Just like in the Dune movies, Paul has been there from the beginning. So the second that he was there, people were pulling for him to do well. And you knew that he was the hero. And even though he's taken a bit of a turn now, you still have built up that good fortune with him. That goodwill with him, and now you still want to see him succeed in what he's trying to do. But as far as Doom Prophecy goes, I haven't seen that yet. I haven't had a character who I really want to cheer for, and I think the closest that we have is Desmond, but even him, like it's a little shaky. I want to know what his true intentions are, because I have a feeling that his true intentions aren't good, and that he's not going to be an actual hero. He's going to be more of a antagonist to someone else's hero. So I wonder who's going to take that hero turn in this show, or if we're just going to sort of ride the line between good and evil with everybody. Which I said, I'm not sure if I feel that. But yeah, what do you think? Do you like it? Do you like the characters that ride the line in between? Looks like we got a comment from Airs Vibe. Yo, thanks for tuning in and checking out. The episode comes out. When does the episode come, kid? I have not been called kid in a long time. I am 43 years old, anything but a kid. So unless you're from NY, I don't know why you be saying kid, but it's all good. It's all good. The episode drops in about half an hour, so right at 8 p.m. Central Time where I'm at. It might be somewhere else where you're at, but yeah, about 30 minutes, and then the episode will be dropping. I will be watching the episode live online and dropping commentary while the episode is going on. Airs Vibe, yo, thanks for another comment. Appreciate it. I didn't like the Carino daughter. I didn't either. I Like I was saying, I'm struggling to find anybody in this show that I like. Like, there's no one who you really want to cheer for. Um, yeah, and what is her name? Her name is man, I had them all written down. What is her name? What is her name? Princess Nez, that's it. Yeah, definitely was not feeling her either. Like, she just seemed like she's a snobby, had a bit of an attitude. Yeah, they're gonna have to show and do some things to make it more palatable for the audience to have somebody to cheer for, because yeah, definitely not feeling her right now either. If I had to choose someone, and even like the background, the younger like sisters, they I don't know enough about them yet either to have someone to cheer for. Like, Lila seemed like she was nice. She was quiet, she seemed humble, like, but not someone that you would cheer for per se, just someone who you don't want to see die on, in just some random sort of way like she did. But yeah, I'm really hoping that they pull it together. Really hoping that they pull it together. Who's your favorite character so far, Ars? If you don't mind answering that question. Like I said, mine's Desmond, but only because that's about all I got right now. Nobody else is in any way remotely likable at this point. Um, so we have come to about half hour before the episode drops. And we are going to do a quick preview of the episode by watching a video and reacting to it live on the air, where they are watching the trailer for the episode and previewing it. But ours dropped another comment. Appreciate it. I can't remember the names really. Yeah, like, dude, it's really tough to remember all the names. Like I said, I have mine all written down on this piece of paper. If it was not for my notes, I would not know any of the names because they're real tough to remember. Mother Supreme's, okay, wait, let me put that on the screen too. Mother Supreme sister Tula, I think that's who you're talking about. Yeah, Tula seems cool. She seems to be more likable of the two between her and Valia, who's the current Mother Supreme. Yeah, definitely the more likable between the two. I don't necessarily trust Tula either. And I feel like she could be manipulating a bit, but she is a lot more genuine than Valia. I'll give you that. Valia comes off like super controlling, not a real good person at all, but definitely comes off a little bit better. A little bit better. So yeah, I'll definitely agree with you on that one. As far as my favorite though, not my favorite. Yeah, the sword master who's in the show too. Like, I'm not feeling him either. Would you stop, sir? My little dog down here barking. Yeah, I'm not feeling him either. He is supposedly a part of the rebellion, and he seems to be caught up in a situation with Princess Nez, but also another girl who was the bartender in the first episode. He seemed like he had some sort of like romantic ties to her too, so makes me a little sketchy and wondering on him too. So yeah, I don't know, need a hero. Air's Vibe again. Appreciate all the comments. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, please. We are trying to get to 250 subs. Last time I checked, we were at 240. It'll be real nice to hit 250 by the end of this show. And your sub can help everybody else's who's watching. Please drop that sub. I would really appreciate it. I wasn't quite sure what was going on with the fire guy. Could you explain? Again, I'm sorry, I can't remember the name. Yeah, the fire guy is Desmond Hart. They kind of broke down earlier in this live stream. We broke down the end of episode 2, and in that they explained that Desmond Hart likely got his power from being swallowed up by like one of those large like giant worms, and somehow becoming like one with the spice or something like that. They didn't give a really good explanation, but that's how they said he got his powers, or at least that's what he said was how he got his powers. I don't know if I believe that, because we've seen other people who have had like prolonged like exposure to spice, and the only thing that it does to them is change their eyes to blue. And then you have the other people who have extremely long um, exposure to spice, and then they end up like having physical changes too. So maybe he was like stuck in that inside of that worm for a long time and then had to fight his way out or something, maybe got pooped out, I don't know. But that exposure, I guess, in his words, gave him the powers that he has. So maybe that's true. Like I was saying before, it's the navigators. The navigators are the ones who have had like extreme exposure to spice, and it like disfigures them and stuff, but they have the power of knowing the entire universe and can like help people to navigate to different star systems and stuff. So yeah, appreciate that. Also appreciate that you just subscribe. Much love. I appreciate you. Oh, I got something for that. Whenever we get a subscriber,
I don't have friends. I got family.
welcome to the family, then. Welcome to the family. That was so corny. It was corny, but that's all I got right now. Why did the voice not work on him? I guess because of where he's from and the power that he has, he's able to resist the voice. It was something I guess he knew that he could do already. I don't know exactly how he's able to resist it more than everyone else, other than his exposure to the spice. And then also they said something about where he was from, that he was able to train to do that. I know there was also a few different characters in the Dune movies who were able to resist the voice too. So it's definitely something that you can pick up and learn how to do. So real quick, we are going to jump into another recap of the trailer for episode 3. So let me get that up and running. Okay. So yeah, if you got comments while you're watching, drop your comment. As soon as I'm finished recording this, I will throw your comment on the screen too. On this episode of Watch Stuff With Us, Dune Prophecy, episode 3, trailer review. Thanks for checking out another episode of Watch Stuff With Us. I'm JD. Please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a comment below, because I know you want to. I know you want to interact with this show because I'm awesome. I said that real convincing, didn't I? But anyway, we are watching Dune Prophecy episode 3 tonight on the stream for the watch party, but you're watching this on demand, and we are going to preview the episode by watching a trailer for the episode. So we're going to get that going right now. All right, let me get that up real quick. All right, so here we go. Dune episode 3 trailer review.
Mother Superior.
I think a trip home is called for.
Today we are taking a deep dive in the latest trailer of episode 3 of Dune Prophecy, which is titled Sisterhood Above All. Now episode 2 left us wondering if Lila is gone forever, trapped in her own mind after performing the agony, as Valia was left speechless after using a voice on Hart and it having no effect on him. Now episode 1 had a lot of heavy lifting to do to provide us with a lot of exposition, while episode 2 really laid the groundwork of what's to come, which speaking of, it looks like episode 3 will take us back in the past to really understand what young Valia and Tula had to do to become members of the Sisterhood. Now the synopsis for episode 3 reads, following a tragedy, young Tula worries about being accepted despite her family name, while a skeptical Valia struggles with the decision to take the vow of sisterhood. With that being said, spoiler warning ahead for the previous episode alongside my theories and predictions based on this trailer. Which by the way, you can find the full trailer of this third episode in the description of this very video. Now our first shot of the trailer shows Valia most likely returning from her trip to tell the rest of the Sisterhood about their new enemy Hart, as you'll see the mother surrounding her as well as the Adosha in the back, as Valia states that a trip home is called for. As we get the flashback to young Valia on the planet her family was sent to after being banned for being labeled as...
All right. So this episode that we have coming up looks like it's going to be a flashback episode to Valia and Tula when they were younger. Personally, I don't know if I really want to see that. Like, I I get what they're doing, and I know that we need to get the background, but I don't know if I'm sold on it. I don't know if I'm sold on the show altogether. I definitely don't know if I'm sold on the characters, especially Valia and Tula, because they are pretty much the stars of the show, and I don't know how much I actually care about them at this point. Said that multiple times during our live stream, and I'm going to keep on saying it until they give me a reason to actually give a darn, which they haven't yet.
Being labeled as cowards during the war against the thinking machines. You'll notice the whales in the background, which speaks to their trade as being well fur sellers, as this was seen and mentioned back in episode 1. We see how Valia wasn't convinced that this life on this planet was one that she was willing to endure, as she has aspirations to leading the Imperium. Which brings us to seeing young Tula, as well as shots of what's assumed to be the rest of the direct family members. Maybe they have brothers and a mom and a dad, and we might get to meet them in this episode, and maybe...
Now that would be interesting if we got to meet a little bit of their family, maybe to give a little bit of background on why they decided to join the Sisterhood. That might be a little bit helpful. Air's Vibe with another comment real quick. I'm not a fan of a flashback whole episode, especially this early on in the show. I think the flashback episode can be good as long as the information that it's giving is like 100% essential. I think it is a little bit better, and I'll agree with you that it is a little bit better when you have a flashback episode and you have fully established characters and you know what their motivations are, you know what they're trying to do, and then you go back and show like, man, okay, now this is why she decided to do that, this is why they decided to do this. In this one, I know what the Sisterhood is all about and what they're trying to get established, but I don't really know if it matters as much at this point. I mean, hopefully they're going to give us some, some teasers in the background that's going to make us care a little bit more. Maybe this is actually just what we need. As far as I know, I don't know. We'll see though.
And maybe they have something that Valia can use, hinting at her return to going back home. Now, as a Game of Thrones fan, I almost jumped out of my seat when I saw Mark Addy, who played one of my all-time favorite characters in that show, who went by the name of Robert Baratheon.
Look at this idiot. One ball and no...
I didn't even recognize that was him. Yeah, I love Game of Thrones, man. If this show is trying to be like Game of Thrones, it has some very large shoes to fill. We're not going to get into the end of Game of Thrones because that's a whole different discussion. But as far as greatness, this show has a long way to go before it gets to that point.
Brains. He can't even put a man's armor on him properly.
You're too fat for your armor.
Oh, it's funny, is it?
Now, he's listed as playing Valia and Tula's uncle and a once powerful member of the banished House of Harkonnen. Now, it's also said that he blames Valia for their family's fall from grace, which may speak to this moment in the trailer when he calls Valia a sorcerer after it appears she tries using a voice on him or someone in this scene.
Be quiet.
sorceress.
We have these quick shots of
I always laugh when they use the voice. It's like,
shots of showing us young and older Tula, as older Tula is seen here with the device that we've seen the Mother Superiors carrying around, and we know that this gives them access to the breeding archives. To me, this might be Tula seeking ways to get Lila.
Now the breeding archives and stuff, that is interesting that they have all these genetic markers for people, and they are trying to bring forth what their version of the Messiah is by having these people conceive conceive children, and then hopefully that child is the Messiah or close enough to it that they can continue down and continue to build and eventually have them turn into what is it, the Kwisatz Cataract? I think that's what it is. So bad trying to pronounce all this stuff. But you get what I mean.
Happened to her during the agony process. As that leads us to one of the sisters telling Tula that nobody has ever returned from the state that Lila was left in, as Tula states that she will do what needs to be done when she chooses. As the camera pans into the glass, it seems like there's some type of liquid.
Yeah. I just don't know. Seattle Ryan, what is up? It's been a while, man. It's been a while. Can I just say, why won't Max do Raised by Wolves season 3? Just saying, that show was fire. Yeah, I enjoyed that show. Me and my wife actually watched. We binge watched the whole first season like in a day. So yeah, I was definitely feeling that show. But yeah, this one is not quite at those standards yet. Maybe it'll get there though. Have you been watching this one?
Liquid inside of here, but it also might be mixed in with some spice. Next, we see this shot of people chanting around a fire, and it seems that they are saying Atreides. Here's where we see young Tula again, and there's an orange glow coming off of her face, which makes me believe that she's at the same spot where these people are chanting. From here, we see this intimate scene, which I believe Tula is here as well, because the white dress from the previous shot is the same one that we see here. Now, I believe that Tula may have had a relationship going on, and this is where my theory starts to kick in. Now, back in episode 2, when Valia leaves to investigate what happened to Pruitt and Kesha, she was hesitant to let Tula lead to school because she's afraid of making tough choices. But Tula says something on the lines of having made tough choices in the past. What if Tula was either willingly or unwillingly in a relationship with an Atreides and may have gotten pregnant in the process, and let's just say this was all a part of some big plan from her older sister to prove themselves in order to get a part of this?
I feel like that prediction is probably spot on. That's probably spot on. Either that or she had to choose her she couldn't choose her lover or whoever she was involved in a relationship with because of what she needed to do in the sisterhood.
The sisterhood, or at the very least, they did this in order to get some type of power or control. As we get this shot of Tula who's looking up at a bull, which we know has close ties to Atreides, which again makes me believe that this is all taking place in the same camp. As it's here where we hear Tula saying, "Promise me this will be."
If you have, you're in the right place then, bro. Because you know I'm gonna be watching it, and I might need your help, like you did for the other shows too.
Me, this will be a fresh start for us. Again, has Tula been used by her sister to gain control or power, or will we see one of their first assignments to initiate?
Yeah, I definitely think that Valia is the more sinister of the sisters, and Tula is the more benevolent sister. I think she just kind of goes along with the flow with her sister. I think they have the same sort of goals, but Tula may be more pure in what she wants, and Valia more willing to do anything and everything to get what she wants and to get the sisterhood to where she wants them to be at.
With the sisterhood by infiltrating House Atreides, and this also might speak to one of the many reasons why the two houses hate one another. As we have this shot of the sisters leaving the ship, and young Valia states that we have a new purpose now, this may be the introduction to the sisterhood as we see Mother Rakella. Here we have the shot of the person who's dressed in all white. Again, this could be a young Tula who's in that same white dress from the previous clips that we've seen in this trailer so far.
Big shout out to that dude named Dave. Congratulations on hitting your 20K, sir. Trying to get to 250 on my channel. But yeah, big shout out to you, man. We're watching Dune Prophecy episode 3 coming up tonight. So we are doing a quick little recap and preview from the trailer. for the episode. So thanks for stopping by, my man.
So far, as here we see Valia performing the agony on herself, which, knowing how driven she is and based on things that we saw in this very trailer alone, it wouldn't surprise me if Valia performed the agony on herself and sped up the process to being a part of the sisterhood.
That's wild that if she actually did the agony herself, like solo, like I would think that you definitely need to have somebody there with you to kind of help you through it, or at least to be there when you come out on the other side. But for her to do it alone and solo, like that's kind of rough.
Herself worthy by immediately becoming a Reverend Mother without waiting 10 years to practice their ways. I'm almost thinking that she maybe forced herself into this group by jumping straight into becoming a Reverend Mother. Now we see young Valia screaming in agony after doing the process. Now we know that she survives this process, but I am very curious to see if we see her perspective of her seeing her ancestors like we saw with Lila in episode 2. As we get these shots here, we have someone stating crisis, survival, advancements as the group of sisters look at who I assume is Valia, most likely after just joining the sisterhood and maybe even after performing the agony. As we see Dorothea here, it was very clear back in episode 1 that her and Valia didn't get along well, and it seemed that her and Dorothea's grandmother, the Mother Supreme, favored Valia, which added fuel to Dorothea disapproving of her. As we get these quick flashes into present day of
I see we have like 25 people watching right now. Big shout out to everybody on X watching right now. Big shout out to my folks on Twitch watching right now. Just so you know, if you're watching on Twitch, you can drop a comment and I will air it on the screen. So don't just sit there, interact with the show. And big shout out as always to my folks on YouTube for hanging out.
Day of Valia and the Adosha leaving the Emperor's palace into a shot of two unknown characters on a horse. As we get this really quick shot of someone's hand dropping, and again, I think this goes back to Tula being the person that I believe was getting intimate earlier in the trailer, and again, I believe she is willing or unwillingly in a relationship with an Atreides. Maybe he was the head of that Atreides at that particular location, but ultimately she had
Good theory. Good theory. But yeah, ultimately she probably had to give that person up and make some sort of sacrifice of them in order for her to do what her sister wants her to do.
kill them. Again, going back to Tula saying she's made tough decisions before, maybe this was one of them and her having to be responsible for murdering an Atreides. We end with the shot of Tula walking into the gardens, into this shot of Lila in a chamber with what seems to be that same material that Tula had in that cup, and again, I believe she's experimenting with the spice in order to get Lila back. Now, I'll share the theory back in my episode 2 breakdown that I could see Tula maybe looking for Lila's mother and having her perform the agony in order to save her daughter Lila. As we have this shot here of the mothers from a shot looking.
So the agony isn't like what is it called? It's not like forever. I thought that even if you had it and you were able to survive it somehow, you were okay. But if you died during the agony, like you were gone for good. So it's interesting that you can possibly come back from it, I guess.
Them, which to me speaks to someone entering that realm after performing the agony. Now, this could be Lila's perspective with Tula trying to help her out and getting her out of that realm, or this could be a shot from Violet's perspective from what we see her taking the agony and doing that process earlier in this trailer. As our last shot shows Valia in present day in what seems to be an elevator telling someone that sisterhood above all, which again is the title of this episode, but it makes me think her saying this now might speak to her doing something that's going to service the sisterhood. It's important to note that we didn't see any present timeline shots of the Emperor or Nez or Hart, but I do believe that while the episode will be mostly focusing on the past, I wouldn't be surprised if we see the storylines be split up between the timelines being the past and the present, and the percentage being more like 60-40. Now the question is, what will Valia find on her trip back home? Will we see any of her or Tula's direct family still being alive, like a mother?
We definitely need to get some more Desmond Hart in this episode, as he seems to be the only character that I really give a darn about at this point. So gonna ask that they that the show give us a little bit more of him and some more background on him.
Mother and a father and of course her uncle. Do they have other siblings or other relatives that will matter in this storyline? What sacrifices have each of these these sisters Valia and Tula made to get into their sisterhood. Did Tula have a relationship with an Atreides that led to a death or a pregnancy in order to gain something? Will Tula find some way to get Lila back? And if she is brought back, it was said that no one has ever made that return before, so will she come back completely different? Well, we'll find out this Sunday, December 1st, so make sure, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the bell notification, that way you don't miss out on any of my...
All right, so yeah, we pretty much watched that recap. Yeah, I think that this episode, being a flashback episode, has the potential to be either very good or very bad. Um, and I don't really think that there's going to be any in between. I'm going to side with it being very good only because the end of the last episode was really good. So I think they're going to try to keep that momentum going. It would suck for it to just take a backslide and go backwards a little bit. Like, nah, I definitely don't want to see that. So with it being a flashback episode, that does make me a little bit nervous, but it could actually be a good thing if we get some very pertinent information shared through these flashback scenes. So thanks for checking this out with me. I'm JD. Please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think this upcoming episode is going to be about. And be sure to hang out with us each and every Sunday, 7 p.m. Central Time, for our watch party of Dune Prophecy. We'll see you later. Peace. All right, so we are about 7 minutes away from the episode dropping. And if you are watching right now, leave a comment on what you want to see discussed in this episode. We know that it is a flashback, but what could be pertinent in this flashback that they feel they have to give us one so early on in the series? But yeah, so yeah, we only got a few minutes left. I'm going to work on getting my HBO Max pulled up. If you are watching right now, just to answer the question, I will not be showing the episode live. I cannot show it. That would be a strike against my YouTube channel and they would get rid of me on YouTube. So I can't do that. But what I can do is have you sync up your stream with me and we can watch the show together. So I'll be talking about it as the show goes on. And you can drop your comments too while the show goes on. It's actually pretty fun. I've done it multiple times and it seems to be a pretty good time for people who decide that they want to chat during the show too while I watch it, while we watch it. So looks like we got some more comments. Air's vibe. I think the Emperor's character is interesting as he is shown as vulnerable, which is interesting considering his family just led the revolution against AI. Very true. Him being vulnerable, I see that's one of the things that makes me most nervous about him. He seems like he's ripe to be overthrown. Because he does seem to be kind of benevolent. He does seem to be kind of like almost meek, kind of shy almost. Like for someone to be as powerful as he is, he does not come across as being that powerful. So I wonder, are we going to get that point where someone tries to overthrow him? Maybe that's what Desmond Hart is really up to. Or is he just waiting for that moment to show like his iron fist and then it comes out and then you're like, oh, okay, well, now I see why he's in charge. Got another comment. And Eve, when he embraces Desmond, there's still that feeling that he may not be able to control him. 100% is not going to be able to control him. I already get the alpha vibes off of Desmond way more than I do for what is his name? Havako, I think that's his name. The Emperor. But yeah, definitely get the vibes from Desmond way more than I do from the Emperor. And that's going to be a problem. Like, mark my words, he is not going to be able to control him one bit. Not at all. And Desmond is doing these things for him. And you know that at some point he's going to cash in all those favors that he's done and ask for a favor of his own. What is that favor going to be? I don't know. We'll see. We are about 4 minutes away from the episode starting. Like I said, let me get my HBO Max pulled up. Like I said, the way I do it is that once I hit play, I'll let you know that I hit play, and then you will hit play at the same time. I do not fast forward through any of the previews, or any of the like pre-show trailer stuff. Like, I usually don't fast forward through that. I just hit play once and then go from there. So in a few minutes when the episode goes live, that's going to be my process. And we can watch the show together and drop comments and discuss the show at the same time. So the episode is definitely not up yet because we have 3 minutes left, but I'm hoping that this time they actually like start dropping the episode on time and there isn't any like weird stuff going on like there has been before. Like I said, one time before, last week when I put the episode up, I was gonna hit play and then the episode disappeared, and then a few minutes later, like, it came back and then disappeared again, then it came back again, and then I finally hit play. So it was about a 5-minute process just to get the episode started. I know when we were doing the Penguin, and like I said, if you have not went back and watched those watch parties, had a blast doing those. But yeah, we were doing the Penguin, and it was almost impossible for one episode to even show up, and like it was a solid 10 minutes until it showed up, and that made me a little bit nervous and a little bit anxious. So yeah, Aries Vibe says, okay, I'm going to get some sleep because it's 2 a.m. in the UK. Oh, shout out from the UK. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So if you upload an afterthoughts after or anything, I will watch it in the morning. Okay, here's what I need you to do. As soon as I finished watching the episode tonight, I always do a rapid reaction like episode, and then I drop that episode tomorrow. So what I want you to do is tomorrow in the afternoon, check out my channel. Make sure you check that video out. Please hit that like button and comment on it because it definitely helps the channel. And thank you so much for hanging out tonight. I didn't know you were in the UK and it's so late there. So man, big shout out for sacrificing for, my little stream. But yeah, I appreciate you. This is what we do. Don't be a stranger. Come back again, man. Yeah, we got 2 minutes until the show drops. And yeah, drop those comments while we are watching the episode. And let me see if they ended up dropping it a little bit early. I'm refreshing my screen, and no, they have not. So yeah, we're just gonna stand by until that episode comes out. Again, this is supposed to be a flashback episode, so I'm a little bit nervous about that. Sometimes you need characters with a little more depth to have a fully functioning flashback episode that you really give a darn about. But for them to put a flashback episode so early in the series, that must mean that there's something very meaningful that they need to show. Maybe there's going to be some sort of twist. Like, I don't know what the twist could be, but maybe there's going to be some sort of twist that, nobody's expecting right now. But if you got any ideas what the twist could be or what you think this episode is going to be about or something that's going to happen in it that I don't know about, that you may have an inkling for, go ahead and drop it in the comments right now. It is 7:59 p.m. Central Time. Just hit 8 o'clock, so I'm going to wait and look. Hit refresh one time, see if the episode pops up. And it has not yet. Last time the episode just like appeared. Like I didn't even have to refresh my HBO Max or anything like that. And it just like showed up and I was able to hit play. So what I'm going to do now is as soon as it shows up, I'm going to hit play because I'm not going to mess around with like I did last time and try to get everything up and running ahead of time. But yeah, it is not dropped yet. Going to hit that refresh one more time. Nope. Still not here yet. So we are in a little bit of a holding pattern. As soon as the episode drops, I will be watching it and I will be commenting on the episode live. So if you are there too and watching it, hang out with me and watch it. Not here yet. Not here yet. I always get into this story like every week that I'm a Chicago Bears fan, and they had the Chicago Bears on Hard Knocks. And there was one of the episodes, I don't know if it was the first one, it might have been the second episode of Hard Knocks, that it was like a 45-minute delay on the episode like dropping on HBO Max. Like it was showing fine on like regular cable HBO, But as far as the app, like, nah, it was like 45 minutes late and everybody was mad about it. So I am hoping that we are not going to have to deal with a situation like that tonight. Um, but yeah, if anybody else is watching it, has the episode shown up for you yet? Let me know so I can be jealous. Yeah, definitely don't have it yet. While we're stalling for time, I guess we can talk a little bit about Lila. I felt bad for Lila. Going into the episode, last week's episode, once Tula was trying to convince her of going through the agony, I knew that it was not going to be good for her. I knew it wasn't going to end well for her. You just, after watching enough shows, you know somebody who's having these second thoughts, and she's young, she hasn't been through all the training, that it was going to be a bad situation for her, and 100% it turned out to be bad because she died. And when you have a character so young and so naive that they're willing to do whatever, Tula was able to take advantage of that. So that's sort of like, it's your first day on a job, or maybe you've been at a job for a week and your boss shows up and they ask you to do something a little bit sketchy, but you kind of feel like you're in a position that you can't really say no. I feel like that's exactly what happened with Tula and Lila, because she 100% did not want to do this, knew she wasn't ready for it, but because her boss was telling her to do it, she kind of had to go through with it. Unfortunately, led to her death. But if you watch that previous recap that we had, it seems like maybe she will be able to come back. Oh, the episode has dropped online already. So episode 3, Sisterhood Above All, we are 3 minutes past 8 and it finally showed up. So I'm going to hurry up and click on this. So I'm going to ask you to do the same. I'm going to do a quick countdown, and it disappeared again. Why does this happen? This is exactly what happened last week. I don't know why I even say something about it. As soon as the episode shows up, I'm just going to click on it and not even tell you guys to sync up with me. So yeah, I'll just sit here and wait for the episode to show up again. It should appear shortly. I know last week it did the same thing. It took about another minute or two, and then it popped up again, and then I immediately hit play. So we will wait for that to happen this time and hit play. So yep, the episode is here now. I'm hitting play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hit play on yours too. When looks like a Superman promo, maybe some sort of behind the scenes special on Superman that's going to be on HBO Max. The title of this episode is Sisterhood Above All. So definitely a sisterhood flashback episode. Yeah, Christopher Reeve's story, I guess. So that's over. And now we should get a preview or a recap of the previous episode. Yep, that's what's airing right now. So I'm not skipping it, I am watching it. The one cool thing that the sisterhood can do is the whole, like, lie detection system that they have and able to figure out when somebody's lying. Now that's cool. The voice is also cool, but they seem to only use the voice to murder people. See, when he was looking like that, I think he was just letting on. I don't think that he actually was, falling victim to the voice. Alright, the episode is starting right now. Not gonna skip the intro, even though I don't really like the intro. Definitely not a Game of Thrones type intro. Don't really like the music either. Maybe I just need to go back and like actually listen to it because I've only seen it on the show and I kind of have it like muted a little bit, like volume super low. So maybe I need to go back and like actually turn it up and listen to the music and actually digest the intro and maybe I'll like it a little bit more. But our first vibes or at least third vibes now, nah, not really feeling it. One thing I had heard too is that this series was originally going to be called Dune Sisterhood and not Dune Prophecy, so they did end up changing that. So I'm guessing this is after Valia realized that Desmond Hart isn't able to um, fall victim to the voice, and then he wants to take down his sisterhood. So now she's freaking out. We got a threat on our hands. Lankyville, Lankyville, homeworld of the Harkonnen. Oh, was that the whale fur that they were talking about? Whale fur. Why would a whale have fur? Yes, they do here. Go to the good old whale fur shop. Get your big old thing, whale skin, whatever. What they have to do to catch those things? So we're gonna see the origins of the Harkonnen and Atreides beef, I guess. I did not know they had been beefing for like 10,000 years. That's crazy. She's a drip lady, I guess. Interesting how her family even knows that she's kind of like trouble, but they kind of let her do her thing. And then you have Tula, who's sitting there still trying her best to be a good girl. So I wonder what's eventually going to make her side with Thalia. Interesting that, oh, she saved her brother. Okay. Okay. She used the voice on him to save his life. Wow. So you can use the voice for good. Hmm. Hmm. So that explains why her brother was willing to follow her into whatever danger she's going into. So I wonder what ends up happening to this brother because we haven't seen him in the show currently. So I guess we are gonna find out what and oh, like instantly, already dead. Wonder what happened to him. So now they're gonna be mad, mad, mad that that it was pretty much Valia's fault. At least that's how they're gonna play it. Hmm. So basically, Valia wants war, and she's willing to go to war in order to get revenge on the Atreides. Okay, I can respect that. I can respect that. We are watching Dune Prophecy episode 3, about 12 minutes into the episode right now. If you want to watch along with now we're back to present day. So basically, she's telling the rest of their crew to go back home. The key to the reckoning is one that was born twice, once in Spice. Huh, okay. So they think it's Desmond. Maybe it ain't Desmond, though. Maybe it's somebody else. I don't know. Likely is Desmond, but I don't know. So it looks like Lila's in some sort of like suspended animation now. Or I guess they can keep her alive. Sort of like being barely alive, I guess. I was gonna say like brain dead, probably. So Tula is the one that wants Lila to be in this sort of suspended animation that she's in. Then the other sister's saying they gotta let her go. So Tula knows that what she's doing and nobody's ever come back from it, but she's gonna keep doing it anyway. I bet you at some point she's gonna somehow be brought back. We are watching Dune Prophecy episode 3 right now. We are at about minute 17:30. It's about where we're at right now. If you want to join in and watch too, if you're watching, you can drop your comments too, and we can talk about them. So I'm guessing Tula has some sort of a forbidden relationship with an Atreides. That's got to be what it is. And since their families are beefing, it's a definite no-no. So Tula has a young boy that she's about to go out on some sort of hunt with to get a bull, I guess. Hmm. Toxin in that. I'm guessing that's how the man is gonna her boyfriend is gonna go. Ooh, horse got a broken leg. They have to put the horse out of his misery, I guess. So what's Tula gonna do? Is she gonna use the poison? She gonna use the poison to put the horse out of his misery, I guess. So I guess it shows that Tula at least has um a benevolent side. So she knew that the horse needed to die. So instead of allowing him to like cut his throat, she wanted to do it in a humane way. So shows us a little bit more about Tula. She might be moving up to one of my more favorite characters, but she still does some stuff that makes me think not so good about her. We are watching Dune Prophecy episode 3. We are at minute 24:35 right now. If you want to join in and watch. They stop short of saying what young Valia's motivation really is. Atreya out here when she was still alive talking about putting the sisterhood above all else, even above family. Interesting. So that's where sisterhood above all comes from. It's like a pledge that they have to say. Guess they're trying to see who's going to stand out here the longest. Hmm. So they're saying that they don't believe her if she says sisterhood above all, and that she'll always be a Harkonnen. Okay, so now I see a little bit of the reason why she had beef with Atreya. Hmm. So Valia's still out there. Wonder how long it's been. Our misfortunes are the sails that take us to the shore. Interesting. So yeah, now what is this? We got young Tula, and it looks like there's some sort of like ritual going on or something like that. Got a bunch of dudes putting some black paint or something on her chest, hanging out with her boyfriend Ori. So Tula and this guy were definitely in a serious relationship, talking about getting married. Oh, he's proposing to her now. So how's he gonna die tragically? Is my question. So he proposed. She doesn't answer though. Just kisses her. But they do the nasty though. Chanting Atreides, huh? Okay. Oh, he doesn't know that she's a Harkonnen? Hmm. That's a heck of a secret to keep all that time. He looking at her like, why would you do that? His face. So he's still gonna accept her, even though she's a Harkonnen. But we all know how this is gonna end. You didn't see me. Dang, his whole family got slaughtered. Oh, the poison. And she gonna take him out too? Oh, horrible. Like, okay, don't give me all that stuff about how she had to do something she didn't want to do. Like, no, you murdered the entire family. Don't give me that. Nope, 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 nope. Even though you're crying now, not believable. You're just as bad as everybody else. So she encounters the bull, huh? Bull walks away like, oh no, I ain't messing with her. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, was not expecting it to go down that way. Sister Dotrea getting a little jealous that Valia's hanging with Mother Superior. Breaking down how they use the DNA from different people. Say they want to foster better leaders. Hmm. So they using computers too, huh? Hmm. So now young Valia is telling her friends that she's gonna be next in line. I don't know why you go bragging about that though. I'll make you a target. She's so sinister, man. Ugh. So she want to get both of them to be on the same page. Raquel does. Mm. They gonna drink the blue juice. Hmm. Hmm. Was not expecting Valia to not do it. So I'm guessing that's how why she ended up trying to take out the other Reverend Mother, Dotrea. Hmm. So it's either the sisterhood or be a Harkonnen. But I think that that's what Valia is eventually going to do is try to be both. Dang, one of the girls called her a coward. Yikes. That's bogus. That is bogus. So Valia went back home. So I think the bottom line is that their family name is more important than even the sisterhood to them. So she did all that for her family name, and they don't even want her there. So she was like she was gonna use it to kill her own mom, huh? Mm. Now she gonna drink the blue juice. So now she don't care about her family anymore, huh? Okay. Gonna do the agate. Now I wonder what her ancestors are gonna say to her. Show it? So Tua was able to bring her back, huh? Or at least help her come back. So now I guess they're having a little ceremony for Lila. Mm. Ooh, now one of the acolytes is calling her out. Hmm. So now she back in Mother Tula too, huh? Okay. Mm. So she's going to visit her dad or her uncle. I think that was her uncle. So where is Tula going? Mm, using computers to keep her alive, huh? Hmm, interesting. Interesting. All right, so the episode is over now, and we will jump into our rapid reaction. Let me get that all set up. Dune Prophecy, Episode 3, Rapid Reaction. Dune Prophecy Episode 3 just ended, and I am JD here with Watch Stuff with Us. And I'm going to do a quick rapid reaction to the episode. Definitely an interesting episode. So when I do these rapid reactions, I jot notes during the show, and these are pretty much the highlights. So I'm gonna go through those really quickly. It's not gonna be super in depth, but just more of the things that I saw. So if you like what you're seeing here, please drop a like, hit the subscribe button, and drop a comment below to let me know what you thought about the episode and what your quick reactions are to it. So let's get this going. We started out, the first thing I have written down is young Valia used the voice to save her brother. So I guess her brother was swimming and started drowning, and Valia used the voice in order to save him. So the thing that was interesting with that revelation was that she actually used the voice to do something good. Like, I had only seen the voice used for like negative and like trying to get somebody to slash their throat or something like that. I didn't know that you could use the voice for some good. So it was kind of cool to see that you can actually do that. The next thing I have written down was that her brother um, basically backed her, even though the rest of her family seemed like they were already turning their back on her, because she wanted to go after the Atreides, because they had been like pretty much hunting and killing her family members for several years. Um, and she wanted to go after them. The rest of her family didn't want to do it, but she wanted to go after them. So her brother pretty much agreed to be a part of whatever she was plotting. We fast forward literally like 5 seconds later, and they show her brother dead. So obviously, her family was very upset by this. They feel as though she got her brother killed, and they, even as you see eventually later on in the episode, they never forgave her for that. So they feel as though she got him killed because he was willing to follow her, and she felt like she was justifying what she was trying to do because she was trying to protect her family name, unlike the rest of her family. It seems like the rest of them are not willing to do so for whatever reason. um we find Lila in suspended animation, like sort of limbo. Tula was keeping her that way. For whatever reason, the other mother or sister, I guess, that was there with, she's probably a reverend mother, who was there with Tula, was telling her like, yo, you can't keep her like this. Like, this isn't right. You got to let her go. Sacrifices have to be made, and this is just a person that had to be sacrificed. um so then we go to another flashback of Tula, who is in a relationship with and Atreides, and his name is Ori. So already got some drama there. He is in a relationship, and he doesn't know her true last name. Like, she was going under a different last name, same first name but different last name. So he doesn't know that she's actually a Harkonnen, and she's just, dating this guy and has fallen in love with him, obviously. Valia and Dutrea, I guess we go to a different sort of flashback of Valia in the sisterhood, the early days of the sisterhood. And you can see that her and Dotrea have had like a long standing beef, which sort of gives a little background information on how they, or how Valia was so willing to get rid of Dotrea in the first episode. I'm like, man, like, it seemed like she was willing to off her real quick just because they didn't agree. So obviously they have a long standing sort of disagreement, and they have been sort of battling for the leader of the sisterhood forever. And Valia took that opportunity in the first episode to use the voice to make her kill herself. And it's kind of cool to see that that wasn't just something that was, just boom, just happened like right then and there. That no, this has been building up for several years. Then let's fast forward to another flashback of Ori proposing to Tula. And the one thing that I thought that was interesting about that was that he proposed and she never said yes. She didn't say no either, but she never said yes. And then it fast forward to them making out and all that stuff. But it immediately caught my attention that she never said yes. I think they want you to believe that she was, she didn't say yes, but she was okay with it because they ended up hooking up. But it definitely, looking back now, was obvious that something was going to happen between them because she never said yes and never agreed to marry him. Like I said before, Ori doesn't know that Tula is a Harkonnen, but she eventually confesses to it and says that that's her real last name. And I was expecting Ori to be pissed off. Like, he looked like genuinely shocked. I was expecting him to be like, I don't know, and then end up getting mad because it's a betrayal. Like, their families have been beefing for forever, and to see that he was willing to still accept her even though the things that their families had gone through, like, man, I was surprised at that. So it shows that he was, still deeply in love with her and willing to let whatever happen, be in the past, and it has nothing to do with them. It's just that's what's going on with their families, that their families don't define them. So it was even more of a shocker when later on, a few moments later, it shows Tula, or at least Ori, recognizing that it's very quiet. Like, the night before he had went to bed and there was a loud, sort of like a party going on. And at this point, he wakes up and they have the conversation and he notices that it's quiet. So he goes outside, looks around, finds all of his people like in sort of like a little pit area dead. So it was obvious that Tula had done this. And then she eventually stabs him in the neck with the poison that they had been talking about earlier in the show that she used to put down the horse with. Shockingly cold-blooded. I was not expecting it to go that route, but it did show that Tula was willing to do whatever to take care of, her family and, sort of avenge her brother's death. I don't know. I think a lot of that is coming from Valia, and Valia basically not misleading, but influencing her to do this. And she was able to do it. But initially I thought that Tula was more of like the nice, sister, and she was just, sort of being taken advantage of by Valia. Like, nah. Like, Tula got a dark side too, and she's willing to do whatever for the people that she cares for, as we see later on in the episode too. So then let's fast forward a little bit more. I wrote down that the family name is more important than the sisterhood. So I find that interesting because there's sort of a back and forth through that with that concept throughout the episode. Like you have at one point you have Valia and Tula both focusing more so on their family as opposed to the sisterhood, and then you have um, later on in the episode at the towards the very end you have Valia foregoing her family name and sort of doing things just for the sisterhood, or at least basing them around saying I'm doing it, for the sisterhood for the greater good. And then we finally show that the Valia ends up taking the the blue juice. Is what I end up calling it. But she ends up taking the juice that make her have the agony. So she goes through that, connects with her ancestors, and then once she's done, she has a conversation with Tula, who's there when she wakes up, and says that sisterhood is their new purpose. So I guess that's her fully committing to the sisterhood over anything else, which is interesting. And I wonder how much of that is actually true. Um, then we flash forward a little bit more to Theodosa and Valia. Looks like they're returning home. So Valia shows up at their family, home or whatever it is that they live in. And they're surprised to see her there. Obviously, I'm guessing this is the first time that she's returned home since she tried using the voice on her mom. So, which is super interesting. And I wonder what her true purpose for being there is. They didn't reveal that at the end of the episode, but I'm guessing there's more to the reasoning behind her actually being there. And then we end the episode with Tula being complimented by the other Reverend Mother who was there, saying that, I'm glad that you had you were able to let Lila go, or Lilia go. And Tula basically says, yeah, I had to do what I had to do. And then they show Tula going down into the basement, and she ends up interacting with a computer and uses that computer to keep Lilia alive, which is a shocker because everyone knows that they're not supposed to be using computer technology. So it seems like they have been using that community or computer technology initially because Raquella showed Valia that they were using that to track like DNA and genetics in order to, you know, basically build the perfect leader. And I guess she ended up telling Tula about that as well. And Tula ended up bringing Lila down there to say, like, hey, computer, I need you to keep her alive. Even though the computer is like, nah, we shouldn't do this. She overrides the computer and says, yes, you are. You're going to do what I tell you to do. So it's just interesting to know that everybody on this show is deathly afraid of any sort of artificial intelligence or any sort of computer technology, but yet here you have the sisterhood actively using it. So I wonder, is that going to be found out at some point or not, or is that going to continue to be their secret? I wonder, even if as we fast forward into the actual like Dune movies, do they know about that sort of technology that the sisterhood has? Do they still have this technology? Do they still use it now that they're the Bene Gesserit? Interesting. If you have an answer to that question, drop it below, leave that comment, and then I will respond to that comment and we can get the dialogue going there too. Every week, 7 p.m. Central Time, I watch each episode of Dune Prophecy and we do a live watch party. So I would love for you to join next time. If you're watching this for the first time, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. It helps our channel so much. And if you would like to tune in next week to be a part of that watch party, please do so. It's a good time. We had a nice little turnout tonight. So, yeah, without further ado, man, I'm going to leave you to whatever you're doing right now. But thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Watch Stuff with us. I'm JD. Peace. All right. So there you have it, man. Episode 3. I don't know if this episode was as good as episode 2. It hasn't sunk in enough yet. I think there was a lot that went on that made the episode very important. Like we talked about before things started, sometimes you have throwback, flashback episodes that are like dull, boring, don't really add context. This episode gave a ton of context to everything that's going on in the show right now. Maybe not enough context or any context to things that are going on like in the current Dune movies, but as far as the show is concerned, this definitely was a huge part of that, and ended up giving background information on Tula, ended up giving a lot of background information on Valia, and why they are who they are today. And you just have to wonder if their allegiances are truly to the sisterhood, or if their allegiances are towards their family, or maybe it's some combination of both of those. But either way, thanks for hanging out tonight. I appreciate you for stopping by. Please, 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 on your way out, as I always say, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a comment, because just because the stream is ending right now does not mean that the conversation has to stop. You can keep it going by commenting below. I always respond to our comments, and I will ask you to drop one of those below. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great night. Again, I will be here next week, 7 p.m. Central Time, for episode 4 of Dune Prophecy, and doing a watch party for that, just like I did tonight. I would love if you guys can come and hang out for that one too. So I hope you have a great week, and I will see you next week. Please continue to check out everything we have on Watch Stuff with us, because we drop content daily, multiple pieces of content every day. It's your one-stop shop for everything entertaining. Peace.